Hello and welcome to episode 47 of Unemployed to Unstoppable. It's going well, and for the second time this season we've got a cup final, so stay tuned and we'll see how we go. Welcome back. So a quick whiz through the fixture since you were last with us. I think the last game we saw was the Hibs game, second leg of the UEFA Europa Conference League. We went through. Following that, we had a 3-2 defeat to Arsenal. Our league form dropped off a little bit. We got a 2-2 draw with Newcastle, which them two results ultimately proved costly in the end. We did beat Wolves 2-0 with Codriano and Medina getting some goals. We beat Aberdeen in the quarterfinals of the Conference League. We beat them in the kind of groups games as well, so it wasn't really much of a surprise we beat them, although we only drew the second leg 2-2. Again, more goals from Medina and Codriano. We beat Brentford 1-0 in the Premier League, a 91st minute from Brian Vinweiser. He carried on his good bit of goal scoring form. Another slip up in the Premier League with a 1-1 draw at Everton. We beat Man United and beat Leicester to claw some points back up, and it looked like we might be able to scrape into the late European spots in the Premier League. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to. We got a first leg draw against VTSC in the Conference League semi-finals, 0-0. We then drew against Aston Villa, dropping more points in the Premier League. We then won against VTSC in the semi-final, 2-0. Codriano and Vinweiser with the goals. Before winning our final two games of the Premier League, 1-0 at Tottenham at home, Medina with a 90th minute goal. And then Fulham away 2-1, Andy Johnson and Codriano with the goals. Leaving us a final against Nice in the Europa Conference League. Something we're really looking forward to, maybe a bit of a cup double this season. As we finish I think it's our third season with Millwall. Let me just check our history. It's not, well, third season in the Premier League, that's what I meant. So sixth season with Millwall, third season in the Premier League. We've got one cup already, the Carabao Cup. We might win a second one. But I was thinking, as I was going through the save as well, it's probably about time we maybe moved club or did something a bit differently and stepped away from Millwall. We've built them up. We've got them from the Championship to be consistently in the Premier League. But I think it's probably time, as we move through the summer, to look at something else. And then from that, I was thinking, actually, the leagues I've got open are kind of lesser in terms of club reputation. So what I might do is swap around which leagues are actually open, which might enable us to do like Germany or Italy or something like that. So I have a mention in the comment section if there's any leagues you'd particularly like us to consider moving to in the future, and I'll open them up and I'll close off Hungary, etc. Outside squad-wise, again, everything's ticking along quite nicely, actually. We're still creeping up on the number of high potential players we're getting. Just need them to develop a little bit more. Our position in the league in 7th, 67 points. Again, it's not terrible. 2 points away from Man United. And again, I think we'd take another step forward next season if we do stay at Millwall, because that's not to say we will definitely move on. But I think we're reaching that kind of ceiling. When you look at the wages involved, I think if we did get an offer from one of the big clubs, and if I look in the staff page for Job Centre, what's open there, I mean, most of them are Slovak. Leicester, Birmingham and Brentford, I wouldn't really take them as an upward move in terms of job security. There's nothing really big coming up. Maybe, I mean, Man United's stable, so yeah, there's nothing really coming up. So I need to close off some of the leagues like Slovakia and open some of the more high-profile leagues to open up some more job opportunities if we maybe do step away from the Premier League. But we'll see. That being said, we'll get straight into the cup final, see how we get on, and then we'll do the end of season review, and that will end the episode. So stick around and we'll see if we can get our second cup of the season. Welcome back. So here we go. Starting lineup for today. We've got Romero in goals. I mean, he's well and truly ousted Caleb Anson now. Romero came up as a high potential 5-star player. He's currently at 3 stars, but I mean, his stats are pretty good. He's got no traits. He's still a wonder kid, and in terms of his development, progression-wise, he's pretty much flatlined. Attributes all time. Again, not too much of a change really. I would have expected to see more than that, but he's been fantastic since he came in. Back four of Mercia, Calderon, Aliou and Chahar. That's pretty settled now. Got Johnson, Topologlu and Diouf. And again, Johnson's come in and he's just been a phenomenon. Again, defensive midfielder. I don't think he's classed as a wonder kid anymore. But his stats and his performances have been fantastic. 6.98, so he's not too far off the 7 threshold. in the European and international games he is, but again, he's been developing well. He could well reach his potential within the next couple of seasons. And at 21 years old, he's a great player to have around. So them couple signings just in the summer transfer window are what's really made the difference in the progression this season. Midfield, we've done the midfield. So front three of Johnson on the left, Vinwazer on the right, and Medina will carry on up front. Medina's pretty much slipped Codriano into second fiddle now. They're both on 23 goals. Vinwazer's got 16. So we've scored a lot more goals this season than we have done previously. And long may that continue. I'm just trying to think where we could potentially strengthen as we move forward. I'm not sure whether we buy a ready-made world-class player if we can afford it. Because I think that's the only way we're really going to strengthen it. We'll still keep our eye out for the young players, but with the limit of how many you can buy under 18 per season, we've got to be careful to make sure that we're leaving ourselves room to buy players that actually improve us on a daily basis. As Medina breaks from a corner, we've got 3-on-3 here. Johnson back to Medina, and he drives it into the bottom corner, so if there's no offside, Medina driving out from the back, playing a little 1-2, picking it up on the other side, so that's a great break there. Into Vinwazer, he slops it to Johnson, one touch pass back to Medina, just breaks inside the box and drills it below the keeper into the bottom corner. So Millwall have got one hand on the trophy, so to speak. And again, we'll just see. I'd like to think we can get more than that. We're playing a balanced approach. I don't want to step too much into positivity or attacking at this stage of the game. But with that, playing that kind of controlling possession with a little bit of pressing in there, I think we'll make one or two more opportunities as the game goes on. Nice making a chance at the minute though. Bit of a mix-up at the back, nearly let them in. All we don't want to do is get them back in the game straight away. Players not playing too bad. Vinways is a bit quiet on the right hand side, playing a 6.5. We've not really created as many chances as I thought we would. Nice a fairly good team. I've looked at some of their players in the build up and I think we're close. I think we probably do edge it, but they're not a terrible team by any stretch of the imagination. Into Johnson, the creative player. He's given the ball away, gives them a chance to break similar to we did. We have stemmed that break initially. No one's covering. Baldi tried a cheeky little lob over the keeper there, but Romero was switched on, was able to catch it. 35 minutes gone on the clock, 10 minutes till half time. Just getting our second shot of the game, which is a little bit disappointing. Vinways are not having a great game out on the right, so we might well give him 10 minutes into the second half as club captain and then maybe hook him off. Halfway there. I don't want to do the prove. Make sure we see things out. It's in our destiny. We've got the goal up. We just need to defend well. Vinways are playing a 6.4. Gustin 6.3. We'll get him off and we'll get Codriano on. Again, he's joint top goal scorer, Codriano, so give him a chance and he might well take it. 30 minutes to go. And that's what we need to pick up next season. I don't know if we need a bit of a tactical change, but I certainly think in some games we don't create as many chances as I maybe think we should. And it might be to do with we're sitting on a balanced approach to feel our way into the game and we're not going all out positive or flamboyant, fully attacking football. But I just think that with the strength of our team and the positions we've got, we should be creating a couple more opportunities. That some of these 1-0 or small victories we're getting, we should be able to make them a little bit more comfortable, which then aids in the player rotation and the youngster development, because we could give Vancharov and players a little bit more game time as they go through one-on-one with the keeper there. Unfortunately, it's been saved. They will get a corner though with 7 minutes to go. We just want to get this clear. Do we go cautious for the final 10 minutes just to see the game out? I think it's probably the safest thing to do. Into the final minute and then 4 minutes of injury time. Johnson playing the ball over the top to Medina. Can he pick someone out? He goes himself. Topologlu was in the middle there. A little cut back and we would have been 2-0 up, game dead and buried. Shahar with a throw down the right hand side though. I mean, realistically you just want to keep it in the corner, but we will look to play it forward. Due for the chance on the edge of the box and he's just passed it back into the goalkeeper's hands. Mercy here for Kravtov just for a bit of fitness. And it looks like we have seen it out. There we go. Second trophy of the season. Double winners. Mighty Millwall. Not the Lions Den, but it feels like home winning trophies now. Second one for the season. Just applaud the players. Slightly different graphics than you get for the domestic trophies. Obviously, they've brought in the UEFA stuff. There we go. More confetti, more fireworks, more money in the pot for transfers next season. And we are still taking massive bounds forwards as a club with Millwall. So, not the most glamorous of performances, not as dominant as I thought we maybe could have been against Nice. We did keep them at bay and didn't let them get too many chances. The performance overall was pretty good. And another fantastic trophy. Caleb Anson was a little bit grumpy there, I think, because he wasn't playing. Pleased to have won the cup. An early goal is a massive boost. I think it did make it a bit key that we got the goal fairly early on. Been all too many times you get to a playoff final or and then you lose a goal or you don't score when you should and it comes back to bite you in the backside. So that's the end of the competitive games for the season. I'll click through and get to the end of season review. We'll have a quick look at who the best signings were, etc., who the top scorers, best players, and then we'll have a little bit of a talk about what we're going to do for next season. So stay tuned and I'll be back shortly. Welcome back for the end of season review. Just before we came in here, they gave us our initial budgets for next season. We have a bit of a war chest of 70 million to spend on players. You maybe get 2 or 3 pretty good players that need a bit of development. I don't think we're going to be able to sign too many first team, like 4-star ability players, but we'll have a look when the transfer window rolls round. And that'll be exciting for the transfer specialists. So in terms of the transfers in, Romero got the signing of the season. 20-year-old wonder kid. Boca Juniors for 9.25 million. So we did put a bit of an outlay on there. He did get an average of 7.03, but a B- overall. Not too bad. Diallo, I think, is another good one. I mean, he's down as an F because they think we paid too much, and we probably did pay slightly over the odds to Celtic. But I think for getting a high potential English centre back in at this stage is really quite a positive thing moving forward. Walter Medina, A-. Again, he could have been a high competitor for that kind of signing of the season. Again, 24 goals in 37 games with 16 sub appearances, 7.08. Andy Johnson, A+, 23 million we outlaid on him. Again, he's been phenomenal on that left hand side. When Kevin Zeffy moved on, I did we play Hansen Aaron out there for occasionally, but again, to get someone young in there, high potential, who's an Englishman, I think Diallo and Johnson long term for this save is massively key going forward. Christian Calderon came on, 11 million, A+. Again, he came in as a 4-star centre back, very much a first teamer in that back four. Rodrigo Salas, less so in terms of first team appearances. He's more of a developmental player. Ollie Johnson came in again, 4.2 million, just as an opportunity, popped in from the scouting network, and he ended up playing 25 games for us. So again, for a player at that low price with the potential he's got, that's fantastic. And then Christian Braun, who we brought in earlier in the season as a backup goalkeeper, he's been ousted by the signing of Romero, but again, as a young keeper with high potential ahead of him, again, he's 2-star current ability, 4-star potential. As someone to sit on the bench at that age, I'm not sure if he can squeeze into the trained in England category, but again, as part of the squad, he's fantastic. In terms of transfers out then, Ryan Davis, Kenji Mori wouldn't get a work permit, so we had to let him go. Stefan Leon, he was a goalkeeper again, like Mori, we brought in on our journey up to the Premier League, but he was never going to stay with us long term. Marcio Meyer, again, we sent him out for 10 million. He would have stayed. He was a right winger, but once we got Vinweza playing out there, who was better, we just really had to let him go. Joe Schaffner, he wasn't a terrible player. Got rid of him for 11.75 million. Again, he was a good player, but he wasn't a first teamer, and he was complaining a lot because of that, so it was difficult. Heiko Brammel, we reaped in 21.5 million for him, so that was quite a turnaround of a player we got in relatively cheap. They're happy because we made the profit, but with us bringing in Johnson, who's a better player already, but he has high potential. Again, can't complain with it. Sachi, who we got rid of for 32 million. Again, he's complaining, but huge fee for him, for someone that we signed on a free transfer. So again, I'll make no bones about making money through signing free transfers and selling them. Alex Robertson didn't fit in. Billy Mitchell, he was getting to the kind of not really good enough to get on the bench anymore. Josh Timon, he was 34, had to go. Dean Atkinson, when we signed him, he was high potential, but by this stage of the save, his potential threshold wasn't high enough. Same as Toledo, so again, we let them go. In terms of players who've been loaned out, we've again, they're out for development. The ones I'm excited about is like Reynard Herman. Again, he's 3.5 star potential. Will he come back and play a bit of a squad player for us, possibly? Juan Carlos Preciado, again, he's a 4.5 star potential striker, so we'll probably loan him out for another season, but we'll keep him on the books. Miguel Villa, we might well sell him on and let him go. It depends if we move to an attacking midfielder. Alessio Mancuso, again, signed really cheap as a centre-half. We'll send him out. Again, if we can get a fee for him, we'll make a profit. And again, some of the other ones who are with us early on in the journey, Kerr Smith, again, he'll be moving on soon. Mohamed Ajay, again, when he first signed, he was high potential, but now his potential threshold's only 2.5 star. So it just shows that how far we've come. Some of these players who looked really good when we first signed them have ultimately had to move on because they no longer fit. In terms of results then, 7th in the Premier League. We are in the Europa League next season, not the Conference League, because we won the Conference League, so that's fantastic. Top goal scorer for us was 14 goals with Medina. Again, the stadium's quite small. We might need to look at making that a bit bigger if we're going to stay with Millwall long term. In terms of the fixtures, a little bit hit and miss, good towards the end. A bit slow to start in terms of picking up victories, but overall probably a fair spread of games. What do we get? 17 wins and 16 draws. We only lost 5 all season, so that's really not that bad. Conference League wise, again, we didn't lose a single game, but the level of opposition isn't quite where maybe next year's competitions are in terms of the Europa League, so it might be a bit more difficult next season, so we'll see. But again, fantastic to get our names on the trophy. FA Cup, we were out fairly early. We beat Nottingham Forest, but Fulham put us out. Maybe it's a bit of a blessing in disguise. It enabled us to be stronger in the other cup runs. I mean, again, we looked like we were going out in the Carabao Cup in the semi-finals to Liverpool. They went 3-2 up. Well, they were 3-0 up in the first leg. I think that was on camera. We got 2 late goals to bring it back to 3-2. Second leg was absolute one-way traffic. And then we got Burnley, who were in the Championship in the final. So a season double. Europa Conference League 5-0 win against Cluj. Again, it's a big victory, but I don't think it's too much to write home about. I'd be much more impressed with a 4-3 away win at Arsenal. Again, for fans watching, not only do you get to see lots of goals, but you get the 3 points as well. And goal of the season was scored in that Cluj game as well. In terms of finances, with nothing changed in terms of club reputation. Annual revenue has gone up. I think the competition prize money has gone up significantly, from 25.5 million to 40 million. And then in terms of shirt sales, Vinweza, Medina, Codriano, Juventus and Aaron, I can't argue with any of them, because I mean they're your 3 top scorers there. Maybe Johnson on the left wing might feature next year. In terms of how we lined up then, standard formation we've played for a long time now, which we might look at changing, but Romero, Mercia, Calderon, Aliou, Shahar is right. Johnson, Topologlu and Diouf, although I'd probably swap them 2 rounds. And then Johnson, Vinweza and Medina. Codriano a little bit unlucky to miss out, but yeah, not too bad. We got 1 Manager of the Month award, Player awards. Vinweza got Player of the Season and Young Player of the Season at 24, which seems odd to me. Romero was Sign of the Season, which you've seen. Goal of the Season was Topologlu. Top goal scorer was Medina, who was out of the side for a long time, so if he gets a full season up front next year, it'd be interesting to see what he gets. Most assists, Johnson. Most man of the matches, Vinweza. Highest average rating, Vinweza and Calderon. It always seems to be a centre-back gets the most completed passes, but I guess when you pass the ball out the back four, it's always going to happen. Medina's broke the record for most goals in a season with 24. Most assists in a season, Johnson's broke that with 18. And most man of the match awards, Vinweza's broke that with 10. In the manager timeline then, what have we got? Carabao Cup winners, raked in 67 million from transfers, bringing through talent. So Juan Carlos Preciado is in the XGN awards, so he's one for the future. Late goal against Brentford, I don't see why it's on my timeline. Europa Conference League winners and Medina breaking a club record. So all told, fantastic season, lots to build on for next year. What we really need to think about is what we're going to do in the transfer window, or whether we're going to move clubs. I find it really hard at this stage of a save, and please let me know in the comment section. I find that when you take over a club, to get to where we are now is reasonably straightforward. Where I start to struggle is bringing in players now that aren't going to disrupt this apple cart, that have high potential, but they also add value to the squad without wasting money. So it's going to be a big summer, but lots of players to turn around. I don't want too many more to leave. I mean, Somolani and players like that, I don't mind going. I still think we've got work to do in bringing in some English players. 70 million is going to help us kind of turn some of that squad around. But yeah, I'm excited for the next episode when we do the transfer window. But hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've enjoyed the season. It's certainly been the best one for Millwall in terms of winning 2 trophies and making massive progression. Hopefully next time when you come and see us, we're still with Millwall, or we've had a job offer from one of the big European powerhouses. But until then, yeah, enjoy yourselves, enjoy your weekend. I've just had to sit through Everton losing another game in the Premier League. So as an Everton fan, this is a good break to see some actual goals and victories, because watching the Premier League as an Everton fan is getting very difficult at the minute. And until next time, take care, enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.